Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whenever and wherever you're listening to this podcast, you are very welcome. Welcome to Rugby News, the podcast about our town, our people. This week's edition, number 17, published on the 13th of March, kicks off with the main stories from Rugby Town and all around, gathered with the help of the excellent local newspapers, the Rugby Observer and the Rugby Advertiser. We'll have a bit of a what's on, and then I'm delighted to say I have for you a lengthy interview with Amie Johnson and Dr. Tim Coker from Rugby School, responsible, among other things, for developing the festival on the Close over the last 7 years and putting the finishing touches to this year's festival, the 8th. Running between the 21st and 26th of June, we talk about the range of entertainment and wider activities on offer, where the money goes, what drives the decisions, and the overarching aims and objectives for it all. I hope you enjoy this week's podcast. And so, without further ado, here's our news. I see that the progress towards Warwickshire becoming a unitary authority is relentless and on track. Warwickshire County Council is leading the process of change, and the two options being considered are a single unitary council for the whole footprint of the county, or two unitary councils, one for the north and one for the south. And it's the first of those options that is the county's preferred option, a single unitary council for the whole of Warwickshire. Their plans in outline must be submitted to the government by March the 21st, and a final plan in detail must be drawn up and submitted by November. The County Council leader, Councillor Izzy Seckham, said at this stage the initial work suggests a single unitary as being the model that most closely meets the government's criteria, especially on issues of economies of scale, efficiencies and the risks of separation of already established county-wide services. Whatever model is progressed, she said, above all we must ensure that there is a close connection with the communities that we serve. Our aspiration now is to develop detailed proposals for November to maximise both financial benefit and local connectivity. We do not have to choose between the two and must embed both into the future local government structure in Warwickshire. Rugby Borough Council leader, Councillor Michael Moran, said, "To be clear, and contrary to what has been stated online and in sections of the media, this process does not constitute a takeover by the County Council. All councils in Warwickshire would cease to exist, be replaced by an entirely new authority to bring all services like housing, social services, planning and day-to-day council activities under one roof instead of there being lots of overlap. Ultimately, this is just the start of a process, but it's important that the facts are not misrepresented. Change is definitely needed to make local government more efficient and deliver better services to residents and businesses. The councillors would still be elected in the usual way and decision makers still wholly accountable to the general public. With regards to council taxes and business rates, there would be a lot less bureaucracy and therefore less cost in local government." Well, I say crack on, Michael, but I'm really hoping in the outcome of all of this that we end up with a Rugby Town Council that can focus laser-like, as they say, on the opportunities within our town. Warwickshire County Council has approved the expenditure of £3.3 million on around 700 new electric vehicle public charge points being installed across the county. The funding comes from central government. The procurement process is now underway, with the aim of awarding contracts by September. It's anticipated that the new twin-socket charge points will be installed across the county over the next 3 to 4 years. The new charge points will be delivered with a firm focus on public need, they say, being strategically located to prioritise areas where residents lack off-street parking. The Percival Guildhouse, known as Rugby's home of lifelong learning, is 100 this year. Happy birthday to you, Percival Guildhouse. It survived the Great Depression, the Second World War, the pandemic and financial crises to reach its centenary. The St Matthew Street venue is unique in Warwickshire and one of the few centres of its kind in the country, offering a mix of courses to stimulate minds of all ages and keep bodies active. Planned celebrations include the major show of students' art at the neighbouring Rugby Art Gallery and Museum in June, a writing competition for secondary schools, lots of other stuff, and a centenary summer tea party, with the actual anniversary, September the 29th, being marked by a special event at Rugby School. The centre was founded in 1925 by the old Rugbyians, former Rugby School pupils, who wanted to honour the memory of a past headmaster and adult education pioneer, Dr. John Percival. The building was originally a house belonging to Matthew Holbeck Bloxham, which came up for sale in 1925. The charity-run venture, described as the thinking shop of rugby in 1925, has developed over time to reflect the interests of its students, who today enjoy courses ranging from many forms of art, crafts, yoga and other well-being pursuits to languages, history, creative writing and more. The Guildhouse has faced closure more than once, most notably in the late 1970s when all municipal funding was withdrawn. A crisis meeting of students decided to go it alone, after which the venue prospered until the pandemic struck in 2020. Prolonged closure and then the student fears about mixing in public spaces, resulting in the halving of enrolments, forcing trustees to fund ongoing deficits from reserves. Closure loomed again late last year as reserves depleted, but the doors have stayed open thanks to the securing of long-term loans at the beginning of this year. Organisers now hope to restore the enrolment numbers and introduce the Guildhouse to a new generation of students. Well, I'm sure all of us wish them the best of luck. Happy birthday to you, Percival Guildhouse. Well, I didn't know there was a new service station that had opened up near Rugby, with a Spa shop, Greggs, a Subway and a Starbucks now open for business. Apparently, the planning authority didn't know either. It's located next to the Ibis Hotel in Crick, next to junction 18 of the M1 motorway and the A5 and the A428. West Northamptonshire County Council approved the original plans in August 2023, but those plans only included a petrol station, 2 drive-through units, car parking and landscaping. So the fact that there's now operating a petrol station, a Spa shop, a Greggs, a Subway and a Starbucks is somewhat overreaching the permissions. The development is being carried out by EG on the Move, and they've now submitted updated plans seeking retrospective approval for the changes. West Northamptonshire Council has confirmed that it's considering the revised plans, with a final decision expected by March the 31st. They're consulting with the local lead flood authority and National Highways before that final decision is made. EG on the Move has been contacted for comment to explain perhaps why they moved so fast. And now a very brief rundown on some of the highlights around Rugby Town in the next week or so. We're going to start at the Ben Hall. And on Saturday the 22nd of March at 7:45, they offer Ultimate Coldplay, who since launching in 2017 have been widely recognised as being the world's most accurate Coldplay tribute. They're the only Coldplay tribute featuring a true lookalike Chris Martin, who plays the piano and guitar just like Chris, sings like Chris, and even dances like Chris. What's not to like? They've toured the world as well as playing countless festivals across the UK and selling out venues such as the O2 Academies, and they're coming to Rugby. So that's the 22nd of March at 7:45 at the Ben Hall. Popping over to Inside the 22 now, that's opposite Rugby School at the top of Sheep Street. On Saturday the 15th, they've got a group called Wired to Party, and they play from 9:30. They're a passionate party band dedicated to delivering electrifying performances and unforgettable evenings that will get your Saturday night started with a bang. The day after, Sunday the 16th from 4 p.m, Sunday Jazz Club, a collective of the area's finest jazz musicians this month, featuring special guest Edgar M. Macias Becerro, who led the Buena Vista Social Club in the good old days. That is from 4 o'clock at Inside the 22 on Sunday the 16th. Looks worth dropping into. And then on Saturday the 22nd from 9:30 at CV22, the Tovey brothers. Brothers Jay, Dan and Matt Tovey will delight your ears with an eclectic mix of rock, pop and soul. Gonna nip over to Quigley's now. That's the place where they delight in food, beer, music and sport. On Saturday the 16th at 6 o'clock, James Grady. Lovely performer, lovely bloke, great music. Enjoy that. On Monday the 17th of March, they have St. Patrick's Day celebrations. They're opening at noon with live music starting at 2 p.m. Don't miss the fun, food and festivities, they say. You've got a few days to recover after that, because on Friday the 21st of March, Matt Good starts the early sessions at 6 p.m. and Netscape are the main event at 9:45. That's the What's On for now. Now, that was a roundup of the local news stories about our rugby town, and I am indebted to the excellent local papers, the Rugby Observer and the Rugby Advertiser, for all their help. And hey, for even more detail and even more news stories on the days that they happen, go to their websites or follow them on their Facebook pages. And now, this week's deep dive interview looks in detail at one of the growing highlights in Rugby Town's entertainment calendar, planned for the last week in June, the Festival on the Close. The last week in June in rugby is beginning to be fixed in people's minds as the time for rugby's Festival on the Close. This year, Rugby School are opening the gates to one and all for the 8th Festival on the Close, for another unforgettable celebration of culture, creativity and community under the summer sky. 5 days of world-class entertainment in the heart of rugby from June the 21st to the 26th. I managed to grab some time with two of the three key people organising the offer, Dr. Tim Coker, Rugby School's Artistic Director and Festival Director, and Amie Johnson, the Macready Theatre Manager and Festival Manager. Richard Tanner, the school's Director of Music, was not available, but from Tim and Amie, I got a clear idea of what to expect this year, the range of entertainment and activities on offer, what drives the decisions, and the overarching aims and objectives for it all. Tim gave me an overview.
The Festival on the Close is a festival for Rugby Town. It's a community festival of creativity and culture and education, so it is for everyone. We open wide the gates of Rugby School and the famous turf, the hallowed turf of the Close, and we invite thousands of people to come along to see world-famous household names performing right here in the centre of town. So it's an engaging and exciting and vibrant end of the summer term for Rugby School, but it's one that launches the summer perhaps for Rugby Town as well in a really exciting way. And we genuinely want to be as broad and as welcoming as we possibly can, opening these famous grounds and these famous buildings to the town, and welcoming literally thousands of school children to engage in practical, hands-on, creative workshops in a range of disciplines, off-piste and off-curriculum, to engage them and inspire them.
So it's not just a 5-day festival for ticket-buying members of the public, but thousands of local school children. I asked Tim to expand on this element of the festival.
Sure. So the children come from lots of our partner schools. At Rugby School, we work every week with dozens of local schools in partnership, and we invite them all to rugby on during the week, either to stomp with the cast of Stomp, or sing for the day with Voces 8 or with our own amazing music staff. And they dance, they play, they sing, but they're also engaged in STEM-based activities. So they're being creative with science, and we bring in a huge planetarium dome and they can kind of see the stars. So it is about looking up in lots and lots of different ways. So during the week of the festival, we probably see around 2,000 children come to the school. All year round, it's a lot more than that, from weekly interactions through what we call the 360 program at Rugby School, where we send our own students into local schools to partner with lots of teachers and enhance the experience of local primary and secondary school children. But Amie also, in our programming here at Macready, invites hundreds of children all year round to see live theatre for free, which is part of our Macready Theatre, Rugby's professional theatre, offer to local school groups.
So that's sharing the assets of the school with local children on site and off throughout the year in creative activities and core STEM subjects. I didn't appreciate that before. Part of the school's operation is a department called Rugby School Enterprises, who manage the commercial activities for the school group. This ranges from hire of the many venues within the school, hosting weddings, the use of their sports centre, guided tours, etc. I wondered if the festival was another commercial activity.
We collaborate with Rugby School Enterprises on lots of projects, but the festival itself is an educational one at heart. So it does sit within the teaching kind of faculties of Rugby School at its origin, and then it kind of filters up through the performing arts team here, particularly, and the Macready Theatre team, to the public programming stuff. So it's sort of separate from Rugby School Enterprises, who then take over the school grounds and use it for an amazing offer to the town and for international students to come here all through the summer. But the Festival on the Close itself is built in-house by Rugby School.
And any profits, where does that go?
Absolutely. The whole festival is not for profit, and we are partnering with two charities this year. For a number of years, we've worked very closely with Cancer Research UK, and we've raised around £20,000 for them in the time that we've been running this festival. But this year, excitingly, we're also working with a local charity called the Rugby Club, and that's raising money for disadvantaged children to work with them on the amazing things they do.
OK, so I turn to Amie to describe the highlights we can look forward to this June.
Yes, so from the 21st to the 26th of June, we're here to entertain you, Rugby. We launch with a Manford's Comedy Club, so Jason Manford handpicks comedians off the UK comedy circuit, and we're delighted to welcome Babatunde Alish and Maisie Adam to the stage as our headline acts, and that'll be emceed by Barry Dodds, who was a favourite last year at the festival. That's very exciting. On the Sunday, we bring in renowned radio broadcaster Jo Wiley for an incredible DJ set. So she'll be pumping tunes from the 90s and beyond. So bring your dancing shoes for that one on the Close. Then we've got the BBC Big Band offering Swing Legends. With them, they're bringing two very amazing vocalists as well, and they'll be presenting a lot of brilliant music from the swing genre. And then we will close the festival with the horn section. So if you're a fan of Taskmaster, you'll know Little Alex Horn. He is a fantastic comedian, and with him brings 6 talented musicians, and they will perform a comedy music set for us on the Close on the 25th of June.
Comedy, dance, swing and more. The performances all happen in the Tandem Arena. The Tandem Arena?
So we have built, or we will build, a purpose-built arena for the Festival on the Close. It's sponsored by our principal partners, Tandem Property Limited. A little backstory on Tandem. It's a fabulous story, and we talked a lot about it last year in the festival. Tandem look after the rugby estate in London, on which there are commercial businesses and also domestic properties, and all of the rent money that they take from those businesses and domestic families comes back into the Rugby School to fund scholarships for children who otherwise couldn't afford to be here. So we're really proud to be partnering with them again this year and for our future festivals, and therefore the arena is called the Tandem Arena.
And more of the school estate too. It's not just the close sports field, is it?
No, as Tim said earlier, we fling wide the school gates, so we also incorporate the Macready Theatre, we incorporate Temple Speech Room, we incorporate some more historic buildings such as the old Big School, and the whole close gets used, so not just the pitch, but around the close you'll see kids rollerblading, because why not? It's fun.
So, as well as the tours run by Rugby School enterprises that take visitors to many of the famous and fascinating parts of the school, this is presenting more opportunities for people to come into the school and find out what's on the other side of the walls. The town and gown divide, to the extent that there is one, is being slowly broken down?
In terms of the town and gown comment you just made, I think the school is very mindful and wants to be as open and as generous as it possibly can be, both within its educational sphere, but also within using the facilities and the privilege of having these amazing grounds, which we're very aware of. And increasingly, the spotlight is on the independent sector and what we do and what we offer. So there's a really important political element to this, that we are seen and very visible doing the right thing, because that's at the heart of what we do. We want to share, we want young people to be inspired, whatever their backgrounds. And we have a hugely diverse group of young people who we work with at Rugby School, and also our partner schools. Next week, for instance, the Macready Theatre is running a project jointly with Rugby Free Secondary School, where each year we perform as part of the National Theatre Connections programme. So we'll be jointly working with them, and these joint enterprises and activities obviously come into our flagship festival on the Close, but as I said before, they're year round, and they do demonstrate a real will and a real desire to be an integral part of the town. We're one of the town's biggest employers. The town should be proud of us because we're proud of being in rugby.
I asked, perhaps ungallantly, about the recent changes in the VAT that private schools now have to pay, wondering if these changes are going to temper their energies in reaching out to provide community benefit.
Well, I think what's really important to know about Rugby School is that it started with a donation. It's always been a charitable organisation. Lawrence Sheriff passed away and donated an amount of money to create a school for boys, and from then it's grown and grown and grown. In the 70s we saw girls then coming through, which I know this is going to air after International Women's Day, but it's really exciting that now girls have been coming through the doors as well for the last 50 years, and it's always been about giving back. The Percival Guild House is also something, a gift from the school, and we want to champion that with the things that we do. So when I came here to do the Macready Theatre, outreach was something really big on my horizon, something that I really wanted to achieve. And we've launched and worked with so many businesses now across the town, which is really exciting. And I think it's educational for us and for the town as well to be involved with each other's events.
A positive declaration there that the building of links with the local community is very much in their DNA. As regards events, I asked Dr. Coker, as festival director, how he felt the festival had developed over the last 7 years.
Yeah, so I kind of came here to build the festival on the Close. I'd been doing it for a few years in Sussex and then in near Reading, but coming here and having the backing of Rugby School and the facilities and the space meant that this festival could really build and shine in a town that, as I saw it when I arrived, had an amazing festival of culture, of homegrown talent, had the Ben Hall, had Rugby Theatre doing amazing work, but there was just something I thought that perhaps was missing, and it was that scale and that ambition to put on an outdoor festival, which would attract thousands of people. And I think what we have done is establish that now in the town. So it's something that's familiar. It's something in everybody's diaries. It's June. It's going to be the festival on the Close. And the work we've done with organisations and agents and artists to build that reputation means we get probably more famous people who arrive here. We've got some more big names to announce in a couple of weeks' time, so look out for those. But we're getting really highbrow people interested in coming here and being part of this amazing festival and giving what they can to Rugby Town and the wider audiences. I think that's something that's developed as well. We really are attracting people from a much wider catchment now across Warwickshire into Leicestershire and Northamptonshire. That we're getting a reputation, and that's what festivals like this need. A lot of it is word of mouth, and people are coming back and telling their friends, and that's amazing for us.
The festival on the Close is growing year on year and finding its place within the range of attractions in the town. The town, of course, has a diverse population, and I wondered how what the school offers responds to that diversity.
I remember when I first joined the festival board, which was very exciting. However, it was a board of men, and all white men. And I remember when we first looked at the poster for that year, it was very much men and white men. And there was that question of where's our diversity? And this is something that is really important to the board. We talk about it a lot in our meetings now when we're programming. We want to make sure that we are inclusive in our programming. And that's exciting, because it allows people to see that we are diverse and we take a diverse approach to all of our programming.
I think one important element of that is our workshop programme, which is very consciously diverse. So we will have dance from across the globe in lots of different styles and from lots of different cultures. We'll have music workshops from steel pans to hip hop and rap. So we genuinely embrace other cultures and otherness as part of our kind of DNA now. It's a very exciting and vibrant programme we run across the whole of the week, for children and for adults, that does reflect the community. And Amie works very hard all year as well, back to the kind of all year round kind of way that the festival is a flagship, but it's an all year round project. And we work with homeless charities and we work with refugee groups. So we are always building partnerships and offering unique and special opportunities for people of any kind of background to come and enjoy the arts and to celebrate something that is uplifting and genuinely kind of life-enhancing here in Rugby.
So the festival in June, seeking to appeal to a broad range of interests and tastes to audiences from far and wide. I had to ask Amie and first of all Tim, what was the best thing that they can remember from the last 7 years?
I think for me, and we've had them 3 times, I think now, it's Stomp. So we've got this great relationship with the cast of Stomp and their founding director, Fraser. And Stomp come regularly. They're not here this year because we have a gap. But they come with their West End stars and their West End show, and they work with 150 children all day. And those children, half of them are from Rugby School and half of them from local state schools. And those children work together. And by the end of the day, those kids are exchanging, social media and Instagram and so on. So they're building those relationships, which are really, really exciting. And then they get to perform live on stage with Stomp in front of 1,000 people. It's just life-changing. And to see the kids' faces, with these amazing performers and the dynamic way that Stomp perform on stage is just fantastic. So it's just a win-win-win. The town of Rugby get to see Stomp here in Rugby, which is cool. And they also get to see, 150 kids having a whale of a time, having a go at it themselves. It's just brilliant.
Excellent. We might see them next year.
Maybe next year, yeah.
And Amie, do you have a favourite, or is it too soon to tell?
I've only been doing it, this will be my third year on the festival. One of my favourite acts from a personal level, because it was the first booking that I'd ever got for the festival, was comedian Sean Walsh. So that has, that just pings on the heartstrings a little bit, because I'm just proud of that. But for me, I think Symphonic Ibiza last year was a huge highlight, mostly because the sun was shining, the field was packed with people dancing and having a great time from all different backgrounds. And that, I think, is what is most exciting about this festival, is we are bringing people together who otherwise wouldn't be put in the same room or on the same pitch, dancing to a live band and DJ. And it's just phenomenal what is achieved here.
And if it rains?
We live in England. You know, you go to Glastonbury and you get muddy. If we have to get muddy in June, we'll get muddy in June. It will be a fun festival either way.
As we heard from Amie when we chatted in podcast number 7 late last December, a key driver for the work of Rugby School in the area of performance art is the importance of reaching out and sharing with the wider community of rugby the benefits, pleasures and rewards of experiencing top quality entertainment, live theatre, music, comedy and more. This podcast bangs on about the benefits of collaboration and working together with positive energy. And as far as I can see, Amie, Tim and others are fully engaged in that all year round, with the festival as the flagship. They say they're planning another unforgettable celebration of culture, creativity and community under the summer sky. 5 days of world-class entertainment in the heart of rugby from June the 21st to 26th. Culture, creativity and community. And come rain or shine, I can believe it will be a fun festival either way. Okay, we've pretty much reached the end of this podcast, and thank you so much for staying with it. I publish it once a week, every Friday morning, so if you click follow next to Rugby News, or one word, on any of the podcast platforms, you should get a notification when a new one drops, so make sure you do follow. I hope you liked what you heard, found it useful, and you want more, and if you did, others will too. So share the news and spread the word by sharing the Facebook posts and telling your friends about Rugby News, or one word. Any ideas to make it better, of course, let me know. After all, it is your town, your people. Reach me on email simon.rugby.news@gmail.com. Okay, I've been Simon. Goodbye.